Hare Krishna. Can you hear my voice? Am I audible? Okay, let's start. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminati Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for joining today's session. We have been discussing. We did complete the 12th chapter of the 5th canto on Friday. So I had promised that I'll do a quick recap of the chapter and then we will open up for some leftover questions, comments, discussion points from this conversation between Jadabharata and Rahugana before we start with the 12th, 13th chapter. So if there are not many questions, then we can start 13th chapter today, but if there are sufficient discussion points or questions, then we will dedicate the whole session for Q&A. So this chapter is titled as Jadabharata refutes the king's arguments. We saw his purpose was not refuting. His purpose was to pull Rahuguna to a higher level of action. So as we saw, this is very similar to Krishna actually recommending Arjuna to perform karma on the platform of jnana. Similarly, here he is recommending, Jadabharata is recommending Rahugana to perform karma on the platform of bhakti. So rather than performing karma on the platform of karma only. So this is the argument. So basically, he is not trying to discourage him from acting on the platform of conventional reality. Rather, he says that act on the platform of conventional reality, but with fully internalizing the absolute reality. Okay, that is the point. So I'll do a quick recap. I'll directly go to the last summary slides. There is no point fully doing all these things. So Rahugana says that I offer my respects to you, having an eternal blissful form like the Lord. So basically, he accepts Jadabharata to be a very exalted personality. So it's not that Rahugana is totally clueless as to what am I asking and what is Jadabharata answering. No, this seems like he has lost his mind. He is not thinking like that. He very clearly understands. And to that extent, he says that your words are actually medicine for me because I have been bitten by the snake of false identity. So very clearly here, Ravguna accepts that, yes, you are addressing the right problem here. Then he says that, can you please explain little more about the Adhyatmika Yoga that you have said? You also said that the results of the action seen in this world are simply based on convention and it cannot be said to be the highest truth. Can you please elaborate on this? Jadabharata said, O Ravguna, this carrier or these four carriers carrying your palanquin, they are all actually transformations of earth. Their bodily parts, including their feet, ankles, calves, etc. Everything is a transformation of earth. This palanquin is a transformation of earth. In the palanquin is the king of Savira, that is Rahugana, who is also actually a transformation of earth. But you, blinded by illusion of false identity, you are thinking that you are the king of Savira. But in essence, you are just a transformation of earth. And you had mentioned that you are performing your dharma by engaging the citizens in their service. But that engagement should not be forcible engagement. You are just forcibly engaging people and calling it dharma. Rather, it is just adharma. Okay. Now let me prove to you about the illusory nature of this conventional world through logic, and you can understand it if you have the sense of logic. We know that everything moving and non-moving appears from the earth and disappears into the earth. Therefore, you can say that the cause of conventional reality or the conventional world is earth only. Raghunath says, yes, I can understand that. But at least earth is real. He says, no, actually earth can be resolved into small particles or small atoms called paramanus. And there is no existence of earth separate from the paramanus. So in essence, what you see as various varieties is actually earth, and what you see as earth is actually paramanus. Raghunath says, okay, but at least the paramanus are real. He says, no, the paramanus are just, uh, a creation, imaginary creation by the, uh, Vaisheshika philosophers just to explain the conventional reality. That's all. Again, we did discuss this before. Jadabartha is not talking about this conventional material world to be unreal. So when he uses the word unreal, it just means temporary and insubstantial. That's all. So therefore, if everything is unreal, then what is the truth? Jadabartha says, okay, the wise say that the truth is actually beyond the three gunas. And what else? And that truth includes everything, including liberation. And that truth is one without a second. It is all pervading. It is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, and it is actually Vasudeva. It is actually Vasudeva. Um, then he says that uh, how to attain that Vasudeva? He says, Rahuganaitat tapasanayati nachejaya nirvapanat grihadva na chandasa naiva jalagni sodya irvina mahatpada rajobhishekam. It is not possible through austerity, sacrifice, food distribution, building shelters, or by studying the Vedas, which means it is not possible just by them. But if they are performed in conjunction with bhakti, in alignment with bhakti, bhakti shastras, and the guidance of the acharyas, then it is possible. So it is possible only by taking shelter of the process of bhakti which is attained by the mercy of the devotees. Therefore, one should take bath in the dust of pure devotees. So how does devotees association help one attain Vasudev? What is the mechanism or process? He says, uh, where there are great devotees, talks concerning the qualities of the Lord are sung constantly. And such talks produce pure thoughts of Vasudeva. Where there are great devotees, talks concerning the qualities of the Lord are sung constantly. Such talks produce pure thoughts of Vasudeva. Then finally, Rahuguna asked Jadabharata, who are you who are so merciful to give such teachings to an offender like me? Jadabharata says, oh, previously I was a king named Bharata. I was completely free of material attachment and I was engaged in the worship of the Supreme Lord. But I was thwarted in my goal by becoming attached to a deer. So I became a deer in my next life. Now, by the power of my previous worship of Krishna, my memory as a devotee did not leave me, even when I was in the deer body. Now, in this body as Jadabharata, I wander about alone, fearing material association because I remember what mistake I did and I don't wish to repeat the same mistake again. I don't wish to repeat the same mistake again. So, um, so he says, in essence, one needs two things to attain the Lord at the end of samsara. What are the two things? Destruction of illusion and gaining remembrance of the Lord. Destruction of illusion and gaining remembrance of the Lord. One can destroy illusion through knowledge, which arises from detachment from matter and attachment to devotees. And one can gain remembrance of the Lord through Shravanam and Kirtanam of the Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela of the Supreme Lord. Okay. So these are the two things which are needed for attaining the liberation at the end of this material body. So this is where we ended our discussion on Friday. So before we start uh, today's discussion, or if at all we are going to start today's discussion, let's see if there are any leftover discussion points, questions which were not properly addressed. It could be any point, you know, till the 13th, till the 12th chapter of 5th canto. We can, if need be, we can dedicate this session only for discussion before we start the 13th chapter. So any leftover discussion points, questions, we will take today. If there are not sufficient questions and discussion points, we will directly move to the 13th chapter after the discussion is over. Okay. Yes, Shivkumar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams Prabhu.
Dandavat Prabhu.
Thank you so much Prabhu for giving sufficient time for the QA sessions. So grateful to you. So Prabhu, a couple of questions Prabhu. Let me start with one thing that I shared in the last class. Now, when we talk about this material world as insubstantial, I'm trying to understand, Prabhu, from a devotional perspective, we say that even the secondary limb is devotional service. It's no less than the primary limbs like Shravanam Kirtanam. Now, now, my understanding is for the secondary limb, for my body maintenance, I am dependent on this world in every aspect.
Correct.
In every aspect.
Correct.
In which case, even the karmis who are living a karmic life, how can that life be concluded as insubstantial, Prabhu, after having taken their service for my body maintenance for me to carry on the devotional service itself?
Well, so your question is, you are dependent on the karmis for maintaining your body, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So that is the only substantial reason for the karmis to live in this world. Because even in their endeavor to further science, even in their endeavor to further technology, even in their endeavor to do something to maintain their own livelihood, if innocently and inadvertently they do something which ends up helping some devotee in his progress in devotional life by engaging it in Krishna's service, then the karmi gets sukriti. So that is the only substantial reason for the people of this world, the non-devotees. That's the only substantial reason to live in this world. I will, because you asked this question, I will read a small part from Jaiva Dharma to substantiate this point. Okay. But you have to give me just a minute because I need to search the chapter. Okay, somewhere I did read. Yeah, I think let me go to. I think it is a chapter called Jaiva Dharma, sorry, and material science or something like that. Long time back, I remember reading it, but there are some statements which Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, which are like, I mean, mind-boggling, beautiful. This thing. Okay, let me just check. It's not chapter 6. Is it chapter 5? Okay, no. Is it chapter 7? Nitya Samsara and material existence. Okay, let me check. Maybe there is something else also. 7, 8. Just remember the number 7. Nitya Dharma and Material Science and Civilization. This is the chapter. The chapter is number 9. Let me search for the right. Uh, you're able to see the screen, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Now, let me just read it. Try to find that place, find that thing. I think this is the one. So the Digambar, who is a Shakta worshipper, he has, now I see that I have landed in the clutches of an extraordinary person of the renounced order. This is, of course, spoken in a sarcastic way. Are you saying that the development of human society is of no use? This is the question that he is asking. Okay. 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 I will not go over the whole this thing.
Hmm.
Hmm. I'll just read the essence of what he says.
Hmm.
Okay. I'll read some parts of it. Okay, so here he says the Vaishnavas consider Dhanurveda, Ayurveda, Jyotirveda, and chemistry, physics, etc. as material knowledge without a permanent relationship to the jiva. Therefore, such material knowledge is inconsequential in terms of establishing the jiva in one of the five rasas in relationship to Ishvara, which are the ultimate nitya dharma of the jivas.
Hmm.
So these are insubstantial in the ultimate sense. Further,
Hmm.
the Vaishnavas see that those who are ardently striving to advance in
Hmm.
Vishaya Gyan means the material knowledge, according to their individual material propensities, are absorbed in the activities of Karmakanda. However, Vaishnavas do not criticize those who endeavor for progress in understanding the mundane nature because this activity may ultimately come to assist them in understanding the prime efficacy of spiritual realization. You read this?
Hmm.
However, Vaishnavas do not criticize those who endeavor for progress in understanding the mundane nature because this activity may ultimately come to assist them in understanding the prime efficacy of spiritual realization.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So, then uh, Digambar asked the next question. Supposing material knowledge had not advanced to what it is today, how would you subsist and perform your bhajan? How is it possible? Uh, this indicates that you Vaishnavas must also work to improve your material knowledge. Advaita Das replies, persons endeavor in their chosen field according to their individual propensities. However, Ishvara alone distributes the appropriate results of those actions to their performers. Okay. So then, this is the point. Advaita Das says, habits and preferences forged from previous actions will consolidate later into one's propensities. Okay. So action leads to samskara or vasana, that is impressions. And when these impressions accumulate, it leads to propensities or swabhava. The depth of a person's material knowledge is the barometer that measures the extent of his material engrossment. So the more one is after material knowledge, the more it indicates his material engrossment. In turn, this material knowledge and engrossment makes him an expert in expressing the mundane art forms, which are also an outcome of material culture. Ultimately, this is the main statement. Ultimately, however, whatever articles are suitable as a result of this entire material endeavor by the materially engrossed will be utilized gratefully by the Vaishnavas as paraphernalia for the devotional service of the Lord. I will read again. Ultimately, however, whatever articles are suitable as a result of this entire material endeavor by the materially engrossed will be utilized gratefully by the Vaishnavas as paraphernalia for the devotional service of the Lord. However, the Vaishnavas themselves need not invest any energy in the creation of these products. A carpenter makes furniture for a living. However, he can also make an altar to enthrone the deity in the home of a Grihastha Vaishnava. Following their instinct and propensity, the bees busily collect pollen and produce honey, which is then taken away to be offered to the Lord. Not everyone in this world will endeavor for their own highest good. This is reality. There will 99% of people will be karmis. So that is, and they will ensure that the material world runs, and the devotees will utilize whatever is produced by the anyways materially engrossed in the service of Krishna, so that according to that particular time and age, they can progress spiritually, and in that way also give an opportunity for the karmis to gain some sukriti. So not everyone in this world will endeavor for their own highest good, which is spiritual elevation. The different activities are prompted by different propensities. Human propensities are numerous. They are high or low and so on. Degraded persons perform many base activities resulting from mean propensities. However, at the same time, they may perform activities prompted by coexisting noble propensities. Isn't it? Everyone does not perform only bad activities. People do perform certain good things stimulated by good propensities also. Thus, the wheel of human life turns, combining in itself innumerable divisions and departments. All materialistic men executing their works inspired by their mundane propensities. This is the most important line. Please hear carefully. All materialistic men executing their works inspired by their mundane propensities reach success by indirectly assisting the Vaishnavas in their spiritual practice. The materialists are, however, unaware of this fact. That's why this is called as Agyata Sukriti. Bewitched by Sri Vishnu's illusory potency, that is Maya, they perform multifarious mundane activities which are later utilized by the Vaishnavas in the devotional service of the Lord. In this way, the entire world is actually the unwitting servitor of the Vaishnavas.
Yes.
Does it address your question, or was it not
Yes.
related to your question?
Precisely, Prabhu. Thank you so much. It precisely answers, Prabhu, comprehensively also. Just one reflection, Prabhu, as you were reading through it. I was actually thinking, or I was of the opinion that every single karmi's endeavor would ultimately be utilized in service of Lord or Vaishnavas. And so it is substantial, but it just came to me, Prabhu, correct me. It may not be necessarily, because some endeavors could just be exhausted in the materialistic selfish pleasure by the karmis themselves without coming in contact or touch with the Vaishnavas. In which
Correct.
case it is insubstantial. Not every single endeavor would come in touch. Like the
See,
example. Hmm.
you're right. So therefore, what I'm telling is, what is the root word of the word substantial?
Uh, Having some meaning or
No,
purpose.
root word means I'm talking about, um, uh, what do you call it? Linguistically, the
Mhm.
word substantial comes from, etymologically, what is the root word of the word substantial?
Substance.
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 Correct?
Yes.
So, therefore, whether it is substantial or not depends on every person's understanding of what they consider as substance,
Hmm.
vastu.
Hmm.
For Vaishnavas, that vastu is vastava vastu. Vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayonmulanam.
Hmm.
So, for Vaishnavas, that vastu is Krishna.
Hmm.
So, if you accept vastu as Krishna, then the word insubstantial should be understood in relationship with that definition of vastu.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
For the karmis, their definition of vastu or substance is different.
Hmm. Hmm.
So for them, it is not insubstantial.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
So, uh, so, so that's the point.
Yes, Prabhu.
So the
Hmm.
endeavor, so the word insubstantial comes from a specific understanding of substance,
Hmm. Hmm.
vastu.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
now, if we share a common understanding of the word vastu,
Hmm.
then we have a common understanding of insubstantial.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
If I have a different understanding of substance and you have a different understanding of substance,
Hmm.
then what is insubstantial to you may be quite substantial to me.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
so therefore, whether it is substantial or not, that whole conversation
Hmm.
comes from what is the understanding of substance,
Hmm.
vastu.
Hmm.
That is the point.
Okay, okay, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So, Prabhu, next question. Now, when we are talking about this soul, mind, and body, Prabhu, in Bhagavad Gita, we understand the hierarchy of importance of the soul being the highest, and next being intelligence, and then the mind, and then the body.
Mhm,
Uh, uh, from a proper understanding perspective. But
mhm,
I'm just thinking, Prabhu, now in this world, as far as our life is concerned, the body seems to be the given highest priority in the sense, importance in the sense that even for a sake, Prabhu, like say, if I have a dream,
mm,
I say it is not real until it happens, manifests in gross materialistic terms. which is mm, which is perceivable by the senses, and then the body, I say it as real. Otherwise, if I have a dream of an event or something, I say, I mean, we also use that example that it's as good as illusion. It's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Same way, like even if you take the offenses,
Mm-hmm.
the physical offense takes attracts the more grave punishment as
Yeah.
against words, as against thoughts.
Yeah.
So it seems the importance that's given in this world is
Mm.
more from the bottom up, and while we know conceptually the importance is top down.
Correct.
So
So, yeah. So I understand your point, but the point is, uh, now the body, the gross body is like the hardware.
mm,
The um, the you know the subtle body is the software.
mm,
Soul is the electricity.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
So the person who is coding, he is mostly working with the hardware only.
mm,
That does not make the hardware most important.
mm,
Okay. Even though maximum interaction is with the hardware, and the hardware may undergo wear and tear, so
mm,
it may need more, uh, you know, you may have to deal with it and address it more.
mm,
But that does not mean the hardware is most important.
mm,
So, in the same way, yes, offenses committed in the mind is not very significant, but offenses committed by the body is more significant. So, body is more important.
mm,
But if there is no offense in the mind, it will never manifest in the body.
mm, mm,
So, only when the offense in the mind becomes extraordinary, it manifests in the body.
mm,
If the offense in the mind is very meager, what will be the stimulus for that offense to manifest in the body?
mm, mm, mm.
So, so
Okay.
therefore, uh, so in that sense, we have to understand.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Basically, the trigger or the source is coming from the higher levels, and it's just getting manifested in the lower levels, not necessarily.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, Prabhu.
yeah,
Thank you, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, next I have few questions, Prabhu, on the topic of this intelligence and pramana.
yeah.
Now we discussed about the ahankara is a sense, which is a learning for me. Thank you for that. And sense objects are body and mamakar. And on the same line, Prabhu, I just wanted to confirm intelligence is also a sense. Is it a right understanding to say the knowledge is the sense subject for intelligence?
Yeah, you can see when you say sometimes the number of senses that is mentioned is 10, 5
Mm,
karmendriyas, 5 gyanendriyas.
mm,
Sometimes mind is also added as the 11th sense.
mm,
Uh, so here in this particular context, the ahankar is also added as one of the senses.
mm, mm.
So, uh, it all depends on in what is the context of your discussion.
Okay, okay.
So,
Mm,
like that.
mm, 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 mm. Okay, but there isn't any specific purport, Prabhu, on the relationship between the intelligence and knowledge, Prabhu. Sorry if I had missed out. Like this
Yeah,
was. Mm,
through intelligence, you try to decipher the knowledge. You can say, in that sense, knowledge is like the sense object of the sense of intelligence.
Yes, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, now talking about these pramanas, pratyaksha, anumana, and shabda,
Mhm.
uh, we understand our senses are limited, and so our pratyaksha experience is limited, and so we are dependent on anumana, and then the highest is shabda. Now, I think you have discussed in couple of earlier sessions, Prabhu. Uh, Shabda also, my faith in Shabda will be reinforced only by my Pratyaksha Pramana. at least at some level, I have to have this experience of Pratyaksha Pramana. I cannot
Yeah.
completely eliminate it.
Yeah.
So, um, so in that sense, would it be right to say that to me, the Pratyaksha Pramana is the highest, even
Yes.
more than the Shabda?
Yes.
Knowing that my senses are limited and defective also, still it is higher.
Yes. Yeah. Because there is Shabda Praman cannot exist without Pratyaksha.
Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Because you may say that how do you say that the Vedas are there? But if I have to have faith in the Vedas,
Hmm.
then I have to have some Sukriti.
Hmm.
That Sukriti is
Hmm.
Pratyaksha Praman only.
Hmm.
So how does one get Sukriti? Now, if I have to develop faith in Bhakti Shastras,
Hmm.
then that faith in Bhakti Shastras comes through prior intervention of the devotees.
Hmm. Hmm.
And prior, when the devotees intervene and give you a good experience, that good experience accumulates and it becomes faith in the Shastras. So, which means for that Shabda Praman, there has to be experience. So, for any Shabda Praman for that matter, there has to be prior experience, like whether it is material or spiritual. Like I often took the example of your mother feeding you something. Okay, so your faith that this would not be poisoned, this food would not be poisoned, is based on Purva Pratyaksha. You have developed that faith. That last many years, if my mother wanted to kill me or harm me, she could have done anytime. So so that is almost like Shabda Praman, like, if my mother, because your Pramana is your mother, so whatever she does becomes the Shabda almost, like, So that Shabda is based on Purva Pratyaksha. So even though we call Shabda as the most important Pramana, provided one has developed faith in that Shabda. Okay. Provided one has developed faith in that Shabda, and the means of developing faith in that Shabda is Pratyaksha. So Pratyaksha is supported, Shabda is supported by Pratyaksha on both sides. Okay. Shabda is supported by Pratyaksha on both sides. First thing, to develop faith in that Shabda, one needs Pratyaksha. And then after developing faith in that Shabda, in order to sustain that faith in Shabda, one has to apply that Shabda and see for themselves in Pratyaksha Praman that the perceivable factors suggested by the Shabda is actually experienceable. So that's why, Pratyaksha Avagamam. So therefore, so now having said that, now is Pratyaksha Praman the most important? Uh, yes, in one sense. Uh, uh, but for certain things, like for example, um, yes, Pratyaksha is most important, but that Pratyaksha should be guided by the Shabda. Now you say the Shabda says one chanting of the holy name and you can reach Baba. Now you may say, oh, it's not there in my Pratyaksha. Okay. So the Pratyaksha defies the Shabda. Now you may say, yeah, correct. So if Pratyaksha defies the Shabda, what should I take, Pratyaksha or Shabda? The point is, Shabda never defies Pratyaksha. It's only that you have improperly understood the Shabda. Okay. You have improperly and incompletely understood the Shabda. Okay. So, uh, uh, like for example, a son thinks that my mother shall never poison me. Okay. That is Shabda Praman. But suddenly one day, mother gives something to eat and that thing tastes very bitter. Okay. So now he concludes, oh, my Shabda Pramana has been proven false by my Pratyaksha Praman, because my mother gave me some poison. So,
Mm.
okay, that may be wrong. Because what he is thinking that everything that is bitter is poisonous.
Mm.
Okay. So now when he understands that everything that is bitter is not poisonous,
Mm.
okay. So there are medicines which are very good for health, but which are bitter.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
So that way we should not be overconfident of our knowledge of Shabda in order to
Mm.
conclude that the Pratyaksha is defying the Shabda.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
So the simple example that we took is one chanting of the holy name takes one to the stage of bhava. So I have chanted many holy names, but I have not even crossed anartha nivritti. Therefore, the Shabda Praman, which says that one chanting of the holy name leads to bhava, is incorrect because it does not support my pratyaksha praman.
Mm. Mm.
So that's that's a reasonable argument,
Mm.
provided, but the assumption here is that you have perfectly understood the Shabda Praman.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
You have perfectly understood the Shabda Praman.
Mm.
So if you have not perfectly understood the Shabda Praman, then this conclusion is not true.
Mm.
So therefore, till you develop faith in the Shabda,
Mm.
Pratyaksha is very important. Pratyaksha is very vital.
Mm.
But once you develop faith in the Shabda, then our Pratyaksha should be interpreted through the Shabda.
Mm. Mm.
That is the point. So
Mm.
therefore, is there absolutely no utility of Pratyaksha Praman? No. There is every utility. In
Mm.
fact, the means of accessing our progress
Mm.
is through Pratyaksha Praman only,
Mm. Mm.
but guided by Shabda.
Mm.
So you
Mm.
will say, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we were discussing this conversation between Prakashananda Saraswati and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Mm.
So Prakashananda Saraswati says that, hey, we understand that you are a sannyasi, you have been initiated by Keshav Bharati Maharaj, so you are very fortunate. But why is it that you are not doing the sannyasi dharma
Mm.
of studying the Vedanta and meditating?
Mm.
Instead, why are you just singing and dancing and associating with all these bhavukas, the sentimentalists?
Mm.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you know what, actually I approached my spiritual master. My spiritual master told, you are such a fool, you are not qualified for studying the Vedanta. Rather,
Mm.
you chant the holy names. And
Mm.
then he glorified the holy names. So I started chanting. So
Mm.
when I started chanting, I thought I have become mad. I
Mm.
started crying sometimes. I started laughing sometimes. I started jumping sometimes. I started rolling on the ground. And I thought that, this chanting is covering my spiritual knowledge.
Mm.
So I went and approached my um, spiritual master and I said, my dear Lord, what kind of mantra have you given? Because just by chanting, you know, I am I am experiencing all these crazy things. You know, I'm laughing, I'm crying, and I'm rolling on the ground. What is this? Okay, this is my Pratyaksha Praman.
Mm.
And you know what Ishwarapuri said? He said, Evam vratasva priyanama kirtya jatanurago drutachitta uchchaihi hasati ato roditi rauti gayati unmadavad nrityati loka bahyaha. He says, this is the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto says,
Mm.
Evam vratasva priyanama kirtya. One who chants the holy name of his beloved Lord, Jata Anurago, it leads to the manifestation of prema, Druta Chitta, and the heart melts down. And
Mm.
what is the sign of that melting of that heart? Uh, Uchchaihi hasati. He laughs very loudly. Ato roditi. Sometimes he cries.
Mm.
Uh, Gayati. Sometimes he sings.
Mm.
Unmadavad Nrityati. Sometimes he dances like a madman. loka bahyaha, completely oblivious of things around him.
Hmm.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented the Pratyaksha,
Hmm.
and Ishwarapuri taught him how to see that Pratyaksha through Shabda.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So this, but if if but he could appreciate that Shabda
Hmm.
because that Shabda came into life. He could experience it himself.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So when we say, Pratyaksha is all nonsense.
Hmm.
Everything is Shabda Brahman. You know, that is like an incomplete understanding. I mean, we have to understand that, if you are not interpreting your Pratyaksha through Shabda, then it is nonsense.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So in that way, they go hand in hand.
Hmm.
The ultimate utility of Shabda is to help the sadhaka experience the proper Pratyaksha.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
the purpose of Shabda is for Pratyaksha only.
Hmm. Hmm.
So is to generate the right kind of transcendental experiences.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, that is the point.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. This is very enlightening. You kind of already gotten into my next question that I had, Prabhu, and kind of answered it, but still I'll just bring it up for few specific points on that question, Prabhu. Now, when we talk about this Pratyaksha Pramana, one of the first very basic learning for me many years back, Prabhu, this was only when after I came into the Association of Devotees, I kind of even heard this first that it is not just the favorable experience is mercy of Krishna, Pratyaksha Pramana. Even the hardships is mercy of Krishna, actually. Although I do have that experience even in my material pursuit, that even to pursue a material goal, there has to be some hardship, and without which I cannot attain that. But I was not able to connect it, and there is this general notion that only if my experience is favorable, it is it is mercy of Krishna, and I would consider it as Pratyaksha Pramana. Is what the notion that I had, but I realized that. But Prabhu, even after realizing that, as in understanding that at least the theory, if the hardship sometimes, Prabhu, I am not saying all the time, if sometimes the hardships is overwhelming and I continue to struggle with anarthas, then there is this doubt coming, is this Shabda even practical? That doubt comes.
Yeah,
Uh, and not able to move from that point, it seems the practice is stuck at that point. But I do
yeah,
see that in theory that I have to get over that point. That hardship is very much required to even go through the higher experience.
yeah. So this is the same. It's not in one sense like uh, rocket science.
Hmm.
So if you are learning calculus
Hmm.
and you know, say integral calculus, you are learning a particular, you know, uh, you know, thing. Let's say King's formula or something like that.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So this is how you apply King's formula and solve these definite integration problems.
Hmm.
Okay. So, and you're solving, you're trying to apply King's formula, you get stuck up, you're not getting the answer at all.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So now, what would a student do? Would he say that, oh, this whole concept of King's formula is not foolproof? It does not apply to everything because I am applying King's formula, I'm not getting answer. Would he
Hmm.
conclude that? Or would he approach the teacher and ask, you taught me King's formula,
Hmm.
and you said that if I apply King's formula, I can solve these kind of definite integration problems.
Hmm.
I am applying it.
Hmm.
I'm not getting an answer. So
Hmm.
tell me where I am going wrong.
Hmm.
Would that not be the question that we would ask? Rather, would a student conclude that this whole, King's formula thing for solving different integration problems itself is wrong.
Yes, Prabhu. I have to approach and seek guidance.
Yeah. So that is the point.
Mm.
So that is why, at least in our Vaishnava Sampradaya, the importance of a guru is emphasized so much. Adau Guru Padashraya. It starts with taking shelter of a guru. So because alone we cannot understand the whole thing. We think we cannot trust our interpretation of the scriptures. So therefore, when we interpret the scriptures ourselves, then we develop some expectations from our own practice based on our interpretation of the scriptures. And when those expectations are not met, we conclude that the scriptures are wrong. Whatever. So therefore, it's always a guided endeavor.
Okay. So, Prabhu, just one aspect I'm bringing in, Prabhu. Please, I humbly request you to pardon me because this thing keeps coming back again and again. I'm helpless in asking this. So, in these points of time, Prabhu, somehow this question comes up inside that am I even qualified for this pursuit in terms of birth, in terms of varna? If only I had these qualities through birth, probably this could have been little easier for me. Have I taken something more than my capacity? Have I bitten something more than that I can chew? So how?
Okay. So now I am trying to understand from where this question is coming from. Because you must have some proof that that must have made you feel that way. Okay. Because you must have definitely observed only those from higher birth. When you say higher birth, do you mean to say birth in the Western countries?
No, Prabhu. Brahmana is a Brahmana Varna.
Because there are many great devotees like His Holiness, Bhakti Dhir Damodar Maharaj, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, who were born in the African countries. They are practicing extraordinary devotional service and guiding thousands of people. His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who are born in the American country and guiding extraordinary devotees. So do you mean to say the Western body?
No, Prabhu. Basically, I mean Brahmana body in terms of Varna, I'm thinking with Sattvic.
Okay. So I can show you thousands and I can show you statistically in today's day and age, 95% of those born in so-called Brahmana families are not practicing bhakti.
Yes,
so on what statistical basis you are thinking that or if you want, I'm sure not everyone may be comfortable. I can take an open poll here in this August assembly of 84 devotees who are there. You can ask them how many are from Brahmana birth. So let us take a statistical this thing. Can someone, okay, those of you who are born in Brahmana families, if you don't mind, no one is going to judge you. Okay. So you can please raise your hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 2, 3. Okay. 17, 18. Okay. I will also raise my hands. Maybe you can say about 20, 25 odd maximum. Maybe some people are not raising their hands. I would say maybe about 25, 30 devotees. It is still one third. It is still one third. Two-thirds are still not born in Brahmana families.
Hmm.
So, based on what observation of yours, you came to this conclusion that this can be practiced only by Brahmanas?
I mean, not necessarily observation, Prabhu, but from a reading of Bhagavad Gita that the sattvic nature is conducive for spiritual life.
Okay, good. Okay. So, did you read only? Okay, can you please explain verses like Apichet Suduracharo Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhak Sadhureva Samantavya Samyak Vyavasito Hi Saha?
Hmm. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Or if you wish to take Srimad Bhagavatam, can you please explain words like Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha
Yes.
Avira Shumba Yavanaha Kasadaya?
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
So, so how would you explain these things?
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Hmm.
Yamuna Mataji's father was a butcher.
Yes, Prabhu. Hmm.
Butcher.
Hmm.
Can you imagine, you know, her devotion?
Hmm.
If you get an opportunity, please read her about her biography. Please read her biography.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
So, where is the question? This kind of devotion you show me in. No, that would be audacious. I don't want to say that.
Hmm.
Show me that kind of devotion. How many Brahmanas born in India can have, in today's day and age, show that kind of devotion that she has shown?
Hmm. Hmm.
You said, Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras Tepi Anti Paramgatim. She is three, she is Shudra, whatever, from a materialistic point of view, born in the Western country, born to a father who was butcher, who did not even take care of them. He left them in between, and she was born in such kind of a family.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
That kind of devotion, where is it seen?
Hmm.
Uh, how many are, I would say, how many Brahmana devotees born in India
Hmm.
uh, show that kind of devotion?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, so you can see, I mean, this is what you're telling cannot be substantiated either by pratyaksha or shabda.
Hmm. 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 Okay. Okay.
You are born in a not Brahmana family. I am born in a Brahmana family. I can tell you statistically, the vast majority extended of my extended family members, they do not practice bhakti.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
In fact, they are not just born in Brahmana family, but in Vaishnava family also.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Many of them are Sai Baba worshippers.
Hmm. Hmm.
Some of them worship demigods.
Hmm.
So, I mean, somewhere something has gotten into your mind which is not neither substantiated by Shabda nor substantiated by Pratyaksha.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, the greater Pratyaksha. Maybe your microscopic Pratyaksha may kind of, like, for example, it is like someone tossing a coin twice
Hmm.
and both times getting tails
Okay.
and concluding that the probability of getting a tails when you toss a coin is 100%.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So this is a very
Hmm.
unreasonable conclusion.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you have not had sufficient data points to make such a conclusion.
Hmm. 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 Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for giving so much of time and enlightening answers. Some of the answers are overwhelming, both in quality and quantity. I have to listen offline few times and then digest answers, Prabhu. So I have few more questions, but I'll just pause here and let others. share some questions, Prabhu, and then come back. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Grateful to you.
Great. Anything anyone else would like to share, ask, add any quick comments, discussion points? Okay, yeah, there is a very valid point made in one of my personal chats. One devotee says that I guess his point may be about his family members not being cooperative in being vegetarian, etc., coming from a non-Brahmin background. I think that is that's the perfect conclusion, I would say, because having known him, it is very natural that someone takes one's own experience and conclusions based on those experience as the topmost pramana. Okay, as the topmost pramana. It is very reasonable. Okay, someone has had, uh, a father who is very, what to say, very, what do you call? He does not spend money. The opposite of spendthrift. Okay, the opposite of spendthrift. Very, what do you call? Very frugal. Okay, very frugal. You will think 100 times before asking him if I can purchase this, and he will think 200 times before deciding whether to purchase it or not. Okay, so such people will conclude that the worst thing in your life that can happen to you in your life is to be born to a father who is so frugal. Okay, and on the other hand, you may uh, another person may be born to a father who was such a spendthrift that practically there would be he would not, whatever salary he gets, he would spend, and anything else that you want to purchase, you would take a loan, and the son ends up inheriting a huge debt from his father. Okay, you ask him, he will say the worst thing that can happen to you is to be born to a father who is such a reckless spendthrift. Okay, so it is human nature to absolutize our own experiences. It is but natural. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. So we may have some limited experience. Okay, we may have some very limited experience, and it is very natural that we tend to kind of generalize it very quickly. So that generalizing nature is a very natural human tendency. Okay, so you know, so therefore I totally agree. Because if I ask Shivakumar Prabhu, he will say that what can I do, Prabhu? I am handicapped by my own. I cannot experience the whole world from east to west and north to south. I am handicapped by my own limited experiences. So true, everyone is handicapped by their own limited experiences. So that's why we cannot make unlimited conclusions based on our limited experiences. Hmm. So that is why Shabda becomes little critical. That's why Shabda becomes little critical. That uh, that if we don't have the capacity to experience, a capacity to have unlimited experience, then we should not be willing to make unlimited experiences based on our limited experience, unlimited conclusions based on our limited experience, rather than we should accept the Shabda Praman if we have faith in the Shabda Praman. Okay. There is another question in the chat box. We'll take that quickly. It is mentioned that one has to bathe in the dust of the feet of the devotees. However, even after practicing sadhana for decades, one may not perceive that anartha nivritti has fully taken place. What then is the deeper meaning of bathing in the dust of the devotee's feet, and how can one become fortunate enough to attain such association? Well, the deeper meaning means, see, the dust of the lotus feet indicates, in a person's body, the 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 lowest part, the most insignificant part of that person's body is the feet, and the dust sticking to that feet is even more insignificant than that feet. And the very fact that you are willing to bathe in that most insignificant part, not even part of his body, but a part which is connected to the most insignificant part of that person's body, it means you respect him to such a great level. You bathe for getting purified. The purpose of bathing is to purify oneself. And if you are bathing to purify yourself by using the most impure part of a person's body, it means you are putting that person on such a high pedestal. It just indicates a sign of extraordinary respect and also dependence and also service. So, so what can we do to attain that? First, we have to understand the importance of it. When we understand the importance of it, then we will do whatever is needful, whether it be in the form of prayers or actively trying to find the association of devotees and serve them like that. Yes, Keshav Premataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In continuing in your discussion, only I had this doubt, Prabhuji. We are discussing about how even someone born in Brahmana family, they are also not worshipping Krishna, or even they are not exhibiting Brahminical qualities. They are worshipping some demigods, some babas, and some they're working in IT companies like that. They are degraded. I mean, they're in different things, Prabhuji. But we also get to know that we get a birth according to our pious credits or our desire only, na Prabhuji. Our conscious level only we're given the birth.
Yeah,
So to understand this, that they are born in a Brahminical family means they should be have more sattvic quality. So is that
yeah.
all majority or like 90% of Brahmanas now only very few are practicing that Brahminical qualities, or they are being reading Vedas or becoming devotees. The rest of them, everyone is degraded by the association of this Kali Yuga, Prabhuji. Is it like that?
Yeah, I mean, see, most of the people who are born in quote unquote Brahmana families are just namesake Brahmana in most cases, because that original Brahminical lifestyle and everything is very meager degree only it is there.
Mm.
In many cases, I won't say all, but
Mm.
in I have seen many people who are following extraordinary levels of Brahminical standards and culture, including
Mm.
profession. Okay,
Mm.
including profession. Like
Mm.
yesterday only, me and my mother, we had gone to one of the Sri Vaishnava temples close by. So there was a small patashala close by, and there were children who were completely, you know, dedicated and studying in that patashala, and you can see the way they dress, their shika and everything, and you could clearly see that they had dedicated their lives to studying the Vedic literatures. So, but this may be a very microscopic minority, but nevertheless, such people are there.
Mm.
So, yeah. So, birth in a you say birth in a Brahminical family means in
Mm.
many cases it is Brahmanas by in name only, not really qualities.
Oh.
So Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, should we understand this Kali Yuga being born in Brahminical family itself is not that great? Only if they are born in a family who thoroughly follows the Brahminical standard, then that is a real great birth, like that, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Not just in Kali Yuga, it is in every Yuga.
Oh, because if 50% are degraded, 50% doing, we can accept Prabhuji, but almost majority are in different profession. But
No,
uh, we,
but
mm,
still, I mean,
mm,
we are not talking about devotion. Now, if you are talking
mm,
about goodness itself, it is a very
mm,
relative thing. It is a very
mm,
relative thing.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
So the highest Brahminical levels of standards may not be there.
mm,
That level of cleanliness may not be there. But
mm,
still, the level of cleanliness may be higher than now. For example, if I see the level of cleanliness or the kind of um, certain things which are followed at my house
mm,
in comparison to what my mother tells about her own grandmother,
mm, mm,
we have degraded a lot.
mm, mm,
But if I
mm,
see it in comparison to
mm,
many other places outside where I visit
mm,
other people's house and other
mm,
devotees' house, it is still extraordinarily high.
mm.
So it is all relative.
Okay.
It is all relative. So I cannot
Mm,
say that it is absolutely
mm,
Brahminical or non-Brahminical. It's not, or goodness or passion. These are all relative. It is not
mm,
that it is there or not there. We have to see to what degree it is there. Or
mm,
even today, if you see the level of cleanliness and that orthodoxy that I see in some other places, in some other households, it is even in today's day and age, it is extraordinary
mm,
in comparison to what is followed in our house.
mm.
But if I see what is followed in our house to many other places where I go, this looks like gold standard already. You know,
Mm.
so it is all actually very relative.
Mm. Prabhuji, and we are continuing our birth now, Prabhuji. It is not just this birth. So,
Yeah.
such people who are already born in Brahminic family, if they didn't use this properly, so again, uh, will they go to another Varna, Prabhuji, or this will
Yeah,
be
quite
given
possible.
continuous? Oh,
Quite possible. They can go to other Varna, or
mm,
they can go to some not so perfectly practicing Brahminical families also.
oh. Because Prabhuji, I have heard from devotees that raising from Tamoguna to Rajoguna itself will take many, many lifetime. Like the gradual step-by-step process they were telling Prabhuji. So from
Hmm.
Rajaguna to Satvaguna itself will take a huge time. From someone who is come to Brahmana family means they have raised their conscious level in many, many lifetimes, na Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah, quite
So
possible.
now the what they show as a Pratiksha Praman is very, very low, Prabhuji. So I'm just wondering how is this all happening? The race of conscience is there, but what
No,
they're
at some
eating
point,
non-veg, they're drinking liquors also. I'm seeing Prabhuji. They're eating non-veg, even Brahmanas, some Brahmanas I'm seeing.
yeah.
That's what.
So which means they have, yeah, it means that material nature is powerful and degradation can happen.
Mhm. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Anything else? There is something in the chat box. Just a reflection. In my humble opinion, sometimes frustration in spiritual life also comes from incorrect understanding of our Acharya's teachings. For example, when we hear instructions like tolerance of dualities, detachment, etc., these are more applicable to Jnana path, which is not even considered as an anga of bhakti, and as per Bhakti-rasam Sindhu, even detrimental to bhakti. Jnana and Vairagya are natural outcomes of bhakti. Yeah, it's true. Very nice. Yeah, this is the exact point that I was making in my conversation with Shiv Kumar Prabhu. Oftentimes, frustration in spiritual life is due to incorrect understanding of the teachings rather than the teachings themselves. So we should not be overconfident that we have understood the teachings properly and the teachings and my pratyaksha is conflicting with the Shabda Praman. So I totally agree with this. Agree with this point. Yeah. Okay, another point. In today's world, so-called Brahmana families stress more on dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. This is being promoted and unfortunately allow all new types of demigod worship being followed, which is called as bhakti. This is unfortunate. How to change this mindset as most of the time surrounded by such relatives and friends. One becomes outcast and it is frustrating. Yeah, what can we do? We have to kind of see whatever we can. Certain things we may have to do for loka sangraha purpose, and certain other things which are very detrimental, we avoid it. That's all. And then give them some good experience, not judge them. Give them some good experience by which slowly they may also get some sukriti. That's all. Yes, Sham Sundaranand Prabhu.
Dhanavad Pranam Prabhuji.
Dhanavad.
Prabhuji, actually my question is for personal application than personal application more and if possible for others. So first thing is like uh, being we are talking about a Brahminical, right? So if we just replace that word by Brahminical by something, some neutral word like um, qualified person, right?
Mhm.
So this kind of tendency of uh, having a superior mentality or having a superior position
Mhm.
is a natural aspect of a society in any
Correct.
society. It's
Yeah.
a natural classification
Yeah.
any society will have.
Yeah.
Even if you remove the so-called Brahminical system out of the place, there will be Brahmanas in another name, all
Yeah.
those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, even in bhakti, even in Krishna conscious society, we will have certain set of devotees who will perform certain set of activities, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So you can name them as Brahmanas and you can name them as Kshatriyas or whatever, according to their activity. And that's what exactly the Varnashram Dharma is. Now, having said that, now we are trying to, we have seen some faults in the Varnashrama setup, and then
Mhm.
we are saying that, okay, this is not good. And um, many times such discussions happen. Um, this happens like a Brahmana bashing, discussions or something like that. And actually, personally, I don't actually watch. You know, uh, I don't have a feeling of superiority for a Brahmana. I will personally. That's my feeling, even from the childhood. I don't know why.
Mhm.
Um, Having said that. But I do feel for the, even if you see you are mentioning that there is a gold standard, right? So,
Mhm.
there is a certain edge for those people, like, for example, even for a Brahma Bandhu or a Dvija Bandhu who
Mhm.
is born in a certain family, he
Mhm.
is by nature given certain set of samskara, which is otherwise not possible in other births. Now, having
Mhm.
said that, if we are comparing that to bhakti,
Mhm.
we are not talking about bhakti. If we talk
Mhm.
about bhakti does not need a pre-qualification.
Correct.
Bhakti is anybody can practice and anybody can excel, and history is the evidence, the scripture is the evidence for that.
Correct.
But when it comes to this kind of discussions, first of all, this kind of mature approach is not followed. Either we would swing the pendulum to one side or the other.
Mhm.
So mostly on the one side, because that has become the history. The recent history says that Brahmanas exploited, or it is shown that the higher classes exploited the lower classes. And you see the current history, these Brahmanas, so-called Brahmanas, are eating meat and doing all those things, right? So then we can safely conclude that history is saying this and the current experience is saying that, so Brahmanas are bad. So we can arrive at that conclusion, right? So, but there was never a balanced approach in seeing this, you know. So, but how do we understand this? Does this balanced approach needs to be followed?
Well, yeah, I mean, someone says corruption happened in all the varnas. Yeah.
Yes,
So the point is that, so the balanced approach is what? Whatever the Shastra says, balanced approach.
of course. Shastra was never talking about this kind of classifications only. Na? We are making those classifications based upon our understanding of the Shastra.
I mean, see, what I'm telling is, I do understand. I am not when I am presenting. See, that is why when Shivakumar Prabhu asked, does it depend on Varna? I said no. So his question was more about bhakti. I answered.
Yes.
So now, in terms of Keshapriya Mataji's question, that we do see some brahmanas drinking and this thing. I said, yeah, that might be possible. So I said it is all relative. It is
Yes.
all relative. So definitely some traces of Brahminical culture are definitely there, and it is definitely good. We are not denying that. So so that is why he said, and of course we do accept that birth is not incidental. Birth is by how one utilize their free will in the previous lives, and accordingly only one gets appropriate birth. So definitely one carries the swabhava that one has gained through previous births in this birth. So as you rightly said, even a Brahma Bandhu in that case would definitely show, traces of a Brahmana, which is good. So we are not denying any of these. So, the whole discussion, if you see, it started with, mm, for bhakti is birth in a particular varna more favorable for taking up to bhakti. That was the discussion, and for that we said no, it is not.
Yes.
So now when I mean, subsequently, yeah, just like Brahmanas have degraded, I did mention that there are many Brahmanas who are not so degraded also. There are many Brahmanas who are, I gave the example of these children who were coming to the temple, and very clearly they were living a very, very high standard Brahminical lifestyle, still there. It's not that you cannot, another theme we were discussing was generalizing. You see a limited few people and you tend to generalize the whole thing, but the reality is far from the generalization that you're stretching out of your limited experience. So yeah, it is true. So definitely, even though there is degradation, but still the degraded version of the system is definitely useful. We are not telling that it is not at all useful. Now, in our discussions on bhakti and the relevance of varnashrama and bhakti, we have discussed something. Okay. But when it comes to the general functioning of this material world, there is no question of whether there is a need for this varnashrama or not, because Krishna has clearly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam Gunakarma Vibhagasha. That is definitely needed. So, yeah, maybe in the context of bhakti, how relevant it is a whole different topic. We have discussed this many times. But there is no question of even varnashrama in a compromised form is definitely needed. for the outside world. We are not debating about it at all.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, actually, my point is that we are mixing two topics. Whenever such discussion happen, we
Yeah,
say that the qualification, there is no qualification for being a varna for the bhakti. Any
yeah,
varna person, and history also, Ramayana also written by Valmiki, and so many other instances, Jabali Rishi is there. So
yeah.
these are all those higher personalities whom everyone adores, and there
Mm,
is no this thing
mm.
bar. But when
Yeah,
this discussion happens, we try to mix the bhakti aspect
exactly.
and the
Yeah,
qualification
I
aspect,
agree
and
with
then
your
we
point.
try to,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree with your point. It starts
Yeah.
out with bhakti,
Hmm.
and eventually, because you have one set of people who may feel that, I am disadvantaged because
Hmm.
I was not born higher family.
Hmm.
Even though, right now I'm in bhakti,
Hmm.
I'm happy that I'm in bhakti, but at the same time, I should feel myself advantaged on the other aspect also,
Hmm.
which the others. So there
Hmm.
are multiple categories of people.
Yeah.
Those who are born in Brahminical families and feel superior. Those who are born in not Brahminical families and feel inferior.
Hmm.
And there are two categories of people: those who are born in not Brahmana families and feel inferior. So
Hmm.
one category who may want to fight and establish that the whole
Hmm.
Brahminical birth itself is irrelevant, and the
Hmm.
other who may fight
Hmm.
and try to establish that, oh, I wish I was born in a Brahmana family,
Hmm.
that kind. So you have all categories of people. That's why the essence is tepi anti param gatim is the most important.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
people get stuck up with this triyo vaishyas tata shudras, while
Hmm.
the essence of that whole verse is tepi anti param gatim.
Hmm.
Okay, everyone can
Hmm.
attain the lotus feet of the Lord by bhakti is the essence, but
Hmm.
people get stuck up with why Shudra is mentioned or why women are mentioned along with Shudras. People
Hmm.
get stuck up with that. But the
Hmm.
point is, but the point that Krishna is trying to make is Tepiyanti Paramgatim. There is no material disqualification for bhakti is what he is trying to
Hmm.
communicate. But just
Hmm.
because he gave an example for that, for
Hmm.
clear for clear
Hmm.
clarification, it becomes problem.
Hmm.
Why
Hmm.
women? Why
Hmm.
Shudras? Why women
Hmm.
are mentioned with Shudras?
Hmm.
So all these various discussions come up where people don't understand. This is a very good observation that you have made, that it
Hmm.
starts out with bhakti not having any qualification, but eventually, because in our deep rooted heart, because maybe based on our past experiences with some people or whatever, you know, these either we carry prejudices or we have been recipient of other people's prejudices. The pinprick is always there, either in the form of pride of being born in a Brahmana family or feeling inferior of being born in a non-Brahmana family. Even though day in and day out we hear that bhakti does not depend on material qualification, but still the pinprick is always there. And that
Hmm.
pinprick comes out somehow whenever
Hmm.
such discussions come out. I
Yeah.
agree with your point.
Yeah. Actually, that was not my main point, Prabhuji. That was just because the discussion was happening, that thought came in. My original question was, I think we are already out of time.
Out of time.
So, yeah.
So maybe
So
we
I,
will take your original question tomorrow.
yes, 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 bro. Actually, my
Okay.
original question was, having given this, situation, this so much. I am talking about Krishna consciousness also. Having given so much training and so much privilege of access to bhakti and to the devotees, and say, still my lower conditioning is not getting, purified. My lower
Mhm.
nature is rising again and again, and I am falling down again and again to the anarthas.
Yeah.
So it is like, I know that I am committing mistake, and we discussed multiple times. Like Vritrasur says to the Indra that you have that Vajra, use that. It is there in your hand, but my mind and my senses doesn't allow me to use that, and that is the, you know,
We can discuss it.
conditioning. Yeah, that is it. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you all very much. So tomorrow we will, Krishna willing, we will start with the 13th chapter. We have already recapped the 12th chapter, so we will no longer recap it. So tomorrow directly we'll start with the 13th chapter. And of course, towards the end, if there are any leftover discussion points, questions, we can take it. So thank you all very much for your patient listening and your enthusiastic participation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Pad ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.